Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Centrify Munki Expert Hour. I appreciate you joining. My name is Ryan Villanueva. I am a Senior Technical Support Engineer here at Centrify, and I work on the identity platform. Just quick before we get started, I want to mention how to submit a question. So in your WebEx Event Center, go ahead and click on the Q&A button in the upper right, and go ahead and post your questions there for all the panelists to see. And we'll be taking questions later on, so feel free to go ahead and add what you maybe didn't get in the video. Okay, and today we'll be talking about what is Munki and why is it important for administrators, and also how is Munki with Centrify different than a standalone Munki installation, and also how can an administrator add applications to push to Centrify enrolled Macs. What are the advanced options for Munki to make administration of apps more streamlined for administrators? How will your users access applications that are not being silently installed? And finally, how will we view some errors from installs that may occur? So what is Munki and why is it important for administrators? Munki is an open source project from Walt Disney Animation Studios. And it's basically a set of tools written in Python that will allow the Mac to be administered by IT to do managed software installs on the Munki Mac enrollment endpoints. Centrify had two primary advantages we wanted to provide with our Munki solution. Number one, we wanted to stop the breach at the endpoints. Oftentimes, end users have admin rights on their Macs just so they can install software, especially when remote. And unfortunately, this means they also have administrative rights to install malicious software. And most breaches do originate from the endpoint or the end user systems. And so being able to limit admin rights to your users will help stop the breach at your endpoints. And second, we wanted to provide a secure, highly available, and turnkey Munki solution. Secure access to the Enterprise App Store is for trusted endpoints, and we will make applications and updates available from anywhere based on our high availability cloud that the identity platform resides in. And we want to simplify the deployment of Munki for both the admins and the end users. So what is different between a standard Munki installation and a Centrify Munki installation? Standard Munki requires that the Munki tools be manually installed on all the Mac endpoints, where Centrify Munki, the Munki tools are installed once the Mac is enrolled in the identity platform. This includes both the admin and the end user tools. On a standard Munki installation, there is a manual creation and maintaining of the manifest files. And with Centrify Munki, the manifest files are created and maintained by the identity platform using roles. The manifest files are basically a list of apps that apply to a given endpoint. And so there could be one or multiple. And with Centrify, we make it easy to determine which group or which Mac gets a certain set of software based on the roles that the user belongs to. With a standard Munki installation, it requires the administrator to also manually create and maintain the catalogs. And with Centrify Munki, the catalogs are maintained by the identity platform as well. And catalogs are basically the list of all apps that are available for your Munki endpoints. Likewise, when you implement a standard Munki installation, it will require an administrator to set up web services and servers that are needed to host the repositories, and then provide secure access to them. With Centrify, we automatically create the repository when application management is enabled, and access to the repository is done with the zero sign-on certificate that is received during an enrollment from the user. Standard Munki also will ideally have some high availability services out there so that we can maintain access to the repositories from anywhere and prevent outages if the service goes down. With Centrify, we automatically provide high availability to the identity platform, which also includes access to the Munki repository. And then finally, with the standard Munki install, the admin tools have to be manually installed on the Munki server, and then you also need to secure access as well, so that you can protect the apps that are being uploaded into the repository. And with Centrify, the admin tools are automatically installed on the enrolled Macs and secured and granted access to via the identity platform, also using the zero sign-on certificate. Okay, so getting the Munki tools. Centrify has integrated Munki into our MDM solution, so the tools are installed when the Mac is enrolled. Installation and configuration on the target Macs is just a one-step process. You'll just enroll the Mac in the identity service, and the Managed Software Center will automatically be installed and configured to securely connect to your private application repository that's hosted in your Centrify tenant. So how do we set up Munki? Step one, we'll need to add or edit a role for the admins to be able to upload applications and also be able to enroll the Macs. So here I've created a role called Mac Admins, and this role will be specific for uploading applications, but you can also set additional administrative rights, like being able to enroll on behalf of other users or anything else in the identity platform that you might need. In this scenario, we're going to use Mac Admins to do application uploads. So here I've clicked on the administrative rights, and I'm going to add application management, which is needed in order to upload apps into the repository. And I'm also going to add my test user here as a member. In a production environment, you can add as many users as should be listed here, or do it by security groups if you prefer that method. Once my user is added to the role, I'm going to create a policy. You can add or edit a policy that will apply. And I'm going to create a policy that I already have that deals with my login authentication method as well. So I'll click to edit, and I'll go to device. Under the mobile device policies, I'll click on device enrollment settings and choose yes to permit device enrollment. And also at the bottom, I'll select permit OSX device enrollment to all. And I'm going to optionally choose enable enroll your Mac prompt at portal login, so that when my admin or user logs into the user portal from a Mac, it will prompt them to enroll the Mac if it's not already enrolled. So once done, I'll save these changes and move on to mobile device policies, OSX settings, and then application management in order to turn Munki on for the tenant. And here I'm going to say yes to enable Munki Managed Software Center client for application management. And finally, I'm going to assign this new policy to both my Mac admins role that we just created and another role I've created silently called Mac users, which includes all my Mac end users. And that way, I can make sure that both of these two roles will receive the same policy. Next, I'll go to a Mac as an administrator and log into my user portal, and I will be prompted with the Enroll My Mac option. When I click the button, it will download the Centrify agent, and once installed, we'll see the agent in the launchpad of the Mac. We'll go ahead and click that, and in order to enroll, or in some cases enroll the Mac on behalf of another user, the administrator will just need to go through and log in using the authentication challenges that are created in the identity platform. You can choose MFA, but in this example, I've chosen just a simple username and password for authentication. And once done, the Mac will begin to enroll into the identity platform. And then optionally, the administrator can switch to the admin portal, and in the upper right, click their name and choose Downloads. and on the Mac App Management page, they can choose to install Autopkg tools, which we'll discuss in a little bit later. And we'll also need to install the CLI tools. To do this, we can open up the terminal on the Mac and run the git command. And once that's done, the administrator will be prompted with a window that says the command requires command line developer tools. Click on install to add those tools. And note that if you already have Xcode on your Mac, you will not need to do this, as these tools will already be installed. Okay, now that the Mac is set up for an admin to add applications to the repository, all of the tools will be included, and so there's a couple ways this can be done. We can use Munki or Autopkg to update the repo, and we'll go through each of those next. Munkiimport. Munkiimport is the command line method of importing into the app catalog, and offers the direct import option of the downloaded PKG, DMG, or MPKG file. And this is the most normal method of uploading apps into the repository. To do this, an administrator will open up Terminal once all of the admin permissions or the admin tools have been installed, and they'll run the command Munkiimport space, and then browse to the downloaded file that you wish to import. And a series of prompts will be seen next, so I'll go through those in order. The first will be item name, which is taken from the package information, but can be edited if needed. Next, we'll be prompted with display name, and this will be the display name of the app that the users will see, as well as that will be displayed in the admin portal later. Likewise, this can be edited now or later on once the import has been done. Same thing for the description. This will be the description of the app in both the admin portal and the Managed Software Center. And then the version of the app is taken from the package info, and it will be determined based on whatever the application you've downloaded is set for. Category. The category is just a way for users to be able to easily switch between the type of apps they're looking for in the Managed Software Center later. Here I've added web browsers. However, this can be any string of text. And the developer will be taken from the package info as well, although this can be edited if needed. Unattended install. When unattended install is set to false, this means that the app will be present in the Managed Software Center as an optional install. And if the user chooses to install this app, it will not require admin privileges to install. When this key is set to true, this app will be silently installed on the Mac endpoints, and the user will not have any interaction in order to install it. Unattended install, when set to false, means that when the user is removed from the role that grants access to the app in the admin portal, it will not automatically remove the app from the Mac endpoint. Whereas if this is set to true, it will, which might be a use case where the company has some privileged software or licensed software that you may not want the users to keep after they're done using it. And so you could remove them from the role once the project is over, which will remove the software and get back your license key later. And catalogs. Catalogs are the way that the software is determined or is pushed out to your users. And adding the catalogs here would be done by role name, which is case sensitive. And so if you wanted to assign the app to a role directly, you could add the roles here with the necessary unattended install flag set. However, for most scenarios, you'll want to import this with a blank catalog so that you can make small tweaks or testing before you actually roll it out to users. So leaving this blank is generally what you'll see. And then next you'll be asked to import the item, which you would only choose N for no if you made some mistakes above and need to correct them. Although remember, most of this information can be edited in the admin portal after it's uploaded. So choosing Y will begin to upload into the repository. And Centrify does not need or use subdirectory paths, so hit Enter to bypass this prompt. And next it's going to say that a product icon was not found, and we wish to try to find one. We can choose Y, and again, we can modify the product icon in the admin portal later, but I'm going to choose Y to allow it to attempt it anyways. And once done, it's going to ask if we want to rebuild the catalogs. With Centrify, you don't need to rebuild the catalog, so Y or N will both achieve the same thing and import the app into the repository. Once done, we'll see it in the apps, in the admin portal, and you can see the description that we've listed is there and some other information. And we can open up the app at a later point to assign it to the users or user base that we want to install it to. In this scenario, I have it set to automatically install to my Mac users group, meaning that if any Mac users have enrolled with maybe the previous build, this will automatically push the newer build to the devices. Likewise, I have my Mac admin set to optional install, and that's just in case I want to do some testing before I actually assign it to the Mac users role. Autopkg is another method of importing applications into the repository. And Autopkg is an automation framework for OS X, for software packaging and distribution that is orientated towards tasks you would normally do manually for third-party software, maybe including some post-install scripts to do things like license files or run some commands either before or after the software is installed. And Autopkg uses recipes from the GitHub community, and so it is community-based, and so one thing to consider before using Autopkg is you generally will want to run these on test devices first, just to make sure they pass all of the security checks and compatibility with your other applications before you deploy it to your end users. So in order to find something, a good example would be Text Wrangler, and in order to find it, we're going to use Autopkg Search and then Text Wrangler to find the Text Wrangler Munki package that has been put in the community. And this specific use case is Text Wrangler is a great app that when first clicked by an end user, they're prompted for admin credentials so that it copies some command line tools over. This is not desired with Munki, though, because your users won't be admins. And so there's some post-install scripts that can do this for you. And because Munki runs as sudo, it will not prompt the user for any credentials when installing. So I've already tested and chosen the recipes repository that I'm going to use for this example. So here I'm going to search for Text Wrangler, and I see that it's in the recipes repository. And next, I'll use the command Autopkg repo-add to add the recipes repository to my repository. And just to get the actual name of the file I'm looking for, I'm going to run Autopkg list-recipes, and then the repo name recipes. And then I'll pipe that to grep-i for Text Wrangler. And I'll see that it's spelled as expected. Text Wrangler.Munki is the one that we'll want to use. And the Autopkg recipes that we'll choose will be the .Munki. And in order to import that into my catalog, I'm going to run Autopkg run the the Munki file name, which is textwrangler.munki. And once complete, you'll see that the TextWrangler app is also in my app catalog. I didn't get to control the description or any other components about it because it did come from the GitHub community. However, just like the Munkiimport, I can go in and edit anything needed here as well. And we might want to say, what does the textwrangler.munki package include? So before I actually import it, I could have ran Autopkg space info space textwrangler.munki, and you can see the file that would be contained there. And if you look towards the bottom, I can see that they've added a post-install script, as we discussed previously, to copy the command line tools using the sudo installer. And you can look at this file to see what else it might be doing. This is a pretty straightforward example, but there may be quite a bit going on here. So you'd want to just check through the ones that meet your needs before pushing to your repository. Likewise, we can see this file after we import it using the admin center by going to the application settings and then downloading the pkginfo file from the app itself. And the pkginfo file is an XML-based file that you can open with any tool that can read or edit XML. Next, we'll talk about some advanced features. This will include how to upgrade software and pre-install scripts and post-install script. So a common task is probably going to be to upgrade software. And this is relatively easy for administrators. In a nutshell, you can import the newer build of the software, and once it's been tested to the specific roles that do your testing, you can deploy it to your end users to upgrade on top of the existing installed version. So here you can see I've imported a pretty common application, Centrify DC, which is our direct control agent to use for Macs to be able to bind to Active Directory using our Server Suite product. My endpoints have 5.4.1 installed currently, but I want to roll out 5.4.2. So I'm going to go ahead and do some testing, and then once I decide that is ready for production, I can go ahead and roll that out to my end users as well. So you see both versions are here in my apps, and I've noted that one is a test agent. And on the left, I have my production agent, 5.4.1. And you can see my Mac end users has it set to silently or automatic install, whereas my 5.4.2 agent does not have Mac users at all. It only includes the Mac admins, and it's set for optional so that the Mac admins that will be doing the testing can stage a test machine or even use their own machine to optionally install this build over the top of their existing. Once they sign off on the 5.4.2 build, they would need to add the Mac users for automatic install to silently install over the top. And then some advanced features also include pre-install and post-install scripts. Both of these can be done by importing the application into the admin portal, and then browsing to the application and downloading the pkginfo file. And again, this is an XML file, so you could use something like Visual Basic Studio or whatever your preferred XML editor is to make changes. As an example, I've downloaded the Direct Control Agent, and you can see on the left is the existing pkginfo file. And I've made a small change to add a post-install script. And I should note that this is not a production script, so there would normally be quite a bit also included in a script like this. But my command here will join this Mac to the domain once the Direct Control Agent is installed. However, in production, you would want to do some conditions first, like checking to see if the Mac is already joined to the domain, or maybe running a specific build. But you can see I've added the script in between the strings for the key called post install _ script, and I placed it in between the package array and the unattended install key from the pkginfo file that I first downloaded. Once complete with my script and my changes, I can save the file, and I'll head back and upload the file to the app. Pre-install scripts can be added using the key pre-install _ script. And you can see an example below that does the copy files. And the post-install script key is post-install _ script. In this example, I've used the same script for both post and pre-install. And again, the administrator would make the changes to the XML file, and from there they'll go back to the application and import the pkginfo file. Okay, end users. When the Mac is enrolled, the end users will automatically receive the Managed Software Center. And the view they'll see is 4 tabs: Software, Categories, My Items, and Updates. The Software tab will include optional installs, so those that have unattended install set to false, which will allow them to choose which optional software to install and will not require admin rights to install it. On the right, they can also determine by categories which type of apps they're looking for if you have a large repository. The categories. Categories are another look at the various options. AD tools, corporate enrollment software, email, and web browsers are the 4 I've created, but there could be numerous, and this is really helpful in large installations with maybe dozens or hundreds of different options of optional software. My items will show all of the optionally installed apps that the user has added. And my user does not have any optional installs, so it doesn't show any here, but if there was, it would also give them the ability to uninstall it, which will also not require admin permissions. And last, the updates here will, when chosen, the updates will fetch new changes to the repository. For instance, if you add a user to a role that adds some additional software options for the user or gets some new silently installed options, this will fetch those changes and apply them. The user can also use the check again option if they want to manually do it. Otherwise, this will run about every 1 hour to update, and the users will get the changes at that point. Okay, and finally, seeing errors in the Managed Software Center. When Macs do try to install the software, if there's any problems, for instance, that maybe you're wondering why a specific build of the Centrify Identity software or the Direct Control Agent did not correctly install. In this example, I've tried to install build 5.4.1 on my 10.13 High Sierra machine, which is not a supported build. And here, in order to see this in the log, I can browse to library/managed installs/logs/managed software update.log. And here you'll see in the log that it tried to install build 5.4.1, but you'll note that the installer had an error because this is not a supported version of OS X. And so the software install finished. And oftentimes you'll see this in this scenario where there's an update, but it can't be applied. And when run, it just continues to come back as opposed to actually installing the software. You can browse to these logs to see what might have happened. In this scenario, my OS X build was too new for the older software. Okay, and then I've added some resources for further reading. Munkiimport. The GitHub has some great information on Munki and the various options that are available. For Munkiimport, this will be, again, the tool used to upload applications into the repository. And for pre- and post-install scripts, there's quite a bit of reading that can be done here, and quite a bit of options as well. But ultimately, the pre- and post-install scripts, you want to refer to the pkginfo keys section to see what other stuff can be done as well when you download the pkginfo from the admin portal. And it also explains how to use the pre- and post-install scripts there as well. Okay, so now we can open up some questions here. Okay, so it looks like we have a few questions here. Okay, looks like is Munki for Centrify included as part of my software maintenance, or do I have to purchase it separately? Let's see. Munki should be included with the identity platform, app edition. So the only thing needed for Munki would be to enable it as shown in the beginning. And once it's enabled, you just need to enroll the Macs to start using it. If we need
Ryan, this is Peter. I can jump in and try to help with that one.
Okay.
Don't mind. Hi, this is Peter Havens. I'm the Director of Product Management for the Centrify Endpoint Services product. And it depends what your purchase is. If you purchase the Centrify Identity Services Mac Edition, then you do have access to the cloud management for endpoints, and Centrify's Munki implementation will be grandfathered in. So it's a part of the Centrify Endpoint Services solution, but if you previously purchased Centrify Identity Services Mac Edition, you're all good.
Great, thank you. Also, I did not prepare a live demo in the admin portal based on my logistics, but the recording is going to be available shortly after the end of the meeting, so you could always refer back to it and take a look at that. The steps from start to finish on how to enable Munki in the admin portal and roll it out to your users are all there. So I would refer you back to the recording once complete. And again, if anyone has questions, they can always open up a ticket with support for further assistance as well. Okay, let's see. So make package info. I've been struggling in getting the make package info-no package to work with Centrify's implementation of Munki. Is this currently supported? Make pkg info is supported. So if you're having issues with make pkg info, my suggestion would be to open a support ticket so that we can investigate further, because we may need to look at some of the logging, or perhaps this session helped and you'll be able to find the logs there. But otherwise, I would recommend that we open a ticket with support so we can help you out further. And does Munki have any asset management tools? I'm thinking this is meaning, do we have a way to check to see which software has been installed? And with that, we do. In the admin portal, you can certainly look at the built-in reports to see deployments of all applications and kind of get an idea of how many users have installed software. Yes, the PowerPoint will, but beyond the recording, is the PowerPoint going to be available for download? And the answer to that is also, it will be available. Looks like we have another update for hardware and software asset management. So in terms of the hardware and software, there are built-in reports that will show the enrolled Macs and the deployed software. The reports are also flexible, meaning that you can customize them to look or feel how you need them to be. But if you're not finding, if what you're looking for is not found there, you could always submit an idea to our idea exchange, and our product team could maybe look at implementing something like that if it's not currently what you're looking for. Hopefully that helps answer the question. Okay, let's see if there's any new questions here.
And Ryan, we have a little more time. I could log into my tenant if we wanted to show the admin portal experience as well.
Okay. Yeah, I think that would be helpful. I have one more question. What file formats are supported via Munkiimport? So for Munkiimport, we support the DMG, PKG, and MPKG. Those are different. Based on the file you're looking to implement, it will you would make the choice there.
If you want to make me a presenter, I can just share my screen.
Yeah. I have one more question that came in. Do customers have the ability to host Munki or on-premise, or is it SaaS only? And Peter?
Yeah, I can take that one. We do have an on-premises version of the product that we use for our Centrify infrastructure services. And it does support the majority of the features. I mean, by support, I mean most of the features do work, but we have not spent time testing and validating the Munki service as much as we need to for on-prem. So basically it does work, but there's work to be done to take it to the point where we're comfortable supporting it. So at this point, it's not a supported deployment. But if there's sufficient interest, we may move to support that in the future. At this point, we're in investigation mode. So, are you able to see my screen?
Yes, we do.
Okay, so you're looking at the apps folder?
That's right.
Okay, great. Yeah, so this is just a standard tenant. I've got a bunch of applications that I've imported, and I've got a filter for my OS 10 Munki applications. So all of these have been imported either via Autopkg or via Munkiimport or Autopkg. Autopkg is another GUI tool for doing things which we are working on supporting in the future. We've just got a version incompatibility at this point. But you can see that everything that's imported via Munkiimport or through Autopkg ends up here just like you would expect on any other application. Your description is here. It automatically picks up the version number, and all of the catalogs that you assign it to are assigned to users or roles in the organization. And as Ryan showed earlier, when you pass the parameter for automatic install or silent install, that affects whether or not this is automatic or optional. And if it's set to optional, it's going to show up in your Managed Software Center client as a catalog item that you can install. And if it's set to automatic, it's just going to silently install. You get a change log for any changes that were made to the application. And you can actually go into the application setting area and download the Munki-Pkg-Info file and edit it manually. So if you want to just maintain the Munki-Pkg-Info file here, download it, and add scripts to the pre or post install script section, you can do that from here. You can always download the file that you've uploaded and validate the right one is there. And it's all just integrated directly into the apps folder like you would expect with the solution. So hopefully that answers your question on that. Good. All right. right, that's all I wanted to share, Ryan.
Okay. It doesn't look like there's any more questions coming in. I think if there's no more questions, we could probably wrap the meeting. So maybe let's give it another minute or so.
And if Brian is still on, Brian, I'm curious to hear what particular issue you're having with the no PKG option to make pkginfo. It should be supported, and if it's not, we certainly want to make sure it's working. So let us know what you're seeing, and we'll get on it. And just in case anybody is still typing in a question, I'll just comment a little bit on where we're going with Munki. If you're using us for application management or for SaaS applications, you're probably familiar with our workflow mechanism to allow for access to an application upon request. And that's kind of an exciting benefit of using Centrify for app management. We do provisioning and workflow, and one of the things we're currently working on in engineering is enabling workflow for Munki applications, which is going to be a nice enhancement as well. That way, if you've got an application that has some maybe cost associated with it, a license file that ends up incurring a significant or any cost to your organization, and you want to make sure it goes through approval, a user could come and click on in the user portal, skip that, and if I go back over to the user portal, when I'm in my user portal, I can actually request access to additional apps. You may know of this feature. And today this is limited to web apps, but we're actually going to open this up to Munki apps as well. So the user will be able to search in here for, say, an Adobe application or whatever the case may be, and request access to that. Not integrated in just yet, but you'll have the Adobe Munki app here, and you can say request access if that application is enabled for workflow, and then you can set up approvers for that workflow, either in your IT organization or maybe the manager, the boss of that individual can approve that request, which may incur some cost to the organization, which is just an example of why you may want to enable that functionality. So looking forward to that in the future. Should be a nice addition to our Munki implementation.
Okay. And it looks like we did get the error from attendee Brian. Looks like it's saying could not process item application name for optional install. No PKG info found in all catalogs. All. I'd really like to see if we could maybe work with you directly through support, just because we feel like this should be being supported. So we just want to make sure there's no syntax issues or what have you, things like that.
My guess is that's on our end. It may be just necessary for us to plumb the no PKG option to look at our repo in the cloud. So we should take that in as a bug and investigate it and validate what's going on there. So
yeah. Okay. And just before we close out, I just wanted to mention that if you do have further questions or anything you'd like to share, we can go ahead and direct you to community.centrify.com, and feel free to add any follow-up questions that you may have later there, or share anything that you've found helpful as well if you want to share to the community. And with that, I think we are good to wrap up, and I appreciate everyone joining today. We really thank you, and hopefully you learned a lot from the Munki Expert Hour.